Welcome to 5 Best Bikes, Cycle World's newest show where we talk about the 5 best bikes for whatever the subject may be on that day. Today, I've got Morgan Gales.
Hey guys.
Morgan, what do you do?
I'm the custom and culture editor for Cycle World and Motorcyclist, as well as the editor-in-chief of Cruiser magazine.
Three hats.
Yeah, all sorts.
You got the right one on today, though.
Right. I just finished building this Sportster tracker, which took me a shamefully long time, but it's done, it's dialed, it's tight, pretty stoked on it.
Yeah?
Ready to go give it the old shakedown through Baja next week.
You're going to ride that in Baja.
Yeah, taking it on El Diablo run with the Builtwell crew all the way down to San Felipe.
Very cool, very cool.
Should be good.
Serious patina on it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's got some cool parts on it that offset that patina, like the Olines and the cool bars and nice brakes, and it's got some really nice parts on it considering that it looks like a rust bucket.
Right, well I didn't want the bodywork to be something I was afraid of dinging, scratching, or hurting. I wanted to be able to ride it to its full potential without being too hesitant because of the fine finish.
Awesome. So you've got a tracker here.
Yep.
And I think that's going to be our subject for today, but let's talk about tracker for a second. They're kind of an interesting way to build a motorcycle because you can really build them out of anything as long as you get to kind of a ballpark, basically.
Right, there's a few parameters that you sort of have to stay within. You want a pretty flat line from the gas tank through the seat. You want generally a single or 2-cylinder engine, pretty torque rich, so you're able to break that rear tire free. Mainly just for the theory of flat tracking. You're not actually going to go race these street trackers
it's
most of the time.
Tied into racing a little bit, but it's not actually a racing
Inspired by, yeah.
Unless you show up at a hooligan event.
Yeah, which I feel like this bike with the 19-inch wheels, I could be able to, had I the riding expertise, but you know, you can only go so far.
Yeah, so that's going to be our subject for today, 5 best bikes for building a tracker.
Yep.
I'm going to give Morgan the start. I've got my cut. No cut. We're just going to keep going. I've got my tape. I've got my Sharpie. We put them up on the board here. We got 10 minutes to figure it out as usual.
Yep.
So let's start the clock. Morgan, you get first dibs. Hit it. And, oh, wait, there's a rule. You cannot say a sporty.
But Sportsters are so versatile.
Nope.
All right, let's kick it off.
No sporties.
So my first bike is actually one that we've got right here. I'd say Yamaha's XS650. It's an incredibly versatile platform. That 2-cylinder engine, when it first hit the market in the 70s, was high performance. It had great output. They made and sold a ton of them.
It's a great little old parallel twin, and tons of parts available for them.
Yep.
Things have been done with this bike, everything from a cafe racer to a tracker to an off-roader to a desert sled. It's been done to an XS650. And there's a reason for that. It's a good starting point.
Yeah.
And that's actually why we have this kind of rust bucket here, is that we're going to use it for a starting point with editor-in-chief Mark Hoyer. He's going to start his own video series called Ran When It Parked. Ran When It Was Parked.
Runs great. Needs TLC, needs new battery, needs carb clean.
So, anyways, I think we need to put it on the list.
Yeah.
I think it's a shoe-in for being on the list. So this one will probably not come off the wall. But I'm going to hit you with my first one, which is another Yamaha from back in the day, and that is a SR500, or you could do a newer SR400. But both are actually kind of pricey. So it's like, do I want a new bike with a little less CC, or do I want an older bike with a little more displacement? But in reality, it's gonna be hard to find either for below $5,000.
Yeah, but still a torque-rich engine. Off the line, you still have that flat line between the tank and the seat.
Yeah.
Good looking, easily customizable because of the tubular frame.
Yep, it's got the right shaped tank kind of already,
Yep.
where you can move forward on the bike and back on the bike. It's got that look. Let's put the modern bike on it, just because they may be easier to find at this point. So SR400.
Yeah, and the vintage ones have been getting more and more expensive.
They have been, yeah. And it's actually hard to find one that someone hasn't tried to modify yet and screwed up. So you never know what you're gonna get when you get one of those.
Right, plenty of Craigslist specials out there.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's already chopped and bobbed. Well, I didn't want it chopped or bobbed.
Yeah, I put $5,000 worth of my own hand-done work in the backyard.
Yeah. That would be an angle grinder and a hacksaw.
Right.
So,
all right.
you're next.
So up next, I would say a Honda CB350. It's another bike that was made for, this one was only made for about 5 years, but they sold a ton of them.
Yeah.
So they're not too expensive to pick up used. 2-cylinder, so you've got the good torque off the line. It's not super heavy.
Yeah, it weighs quite a bit less than an XS650,
Right.
which makes it a little more light and flickable. So if you do want to maybe hit some dirt roads, fire roads, things like that, and kind of pitch it around, it's going to be quite a bit more manageable than an XS. And it's a Honda. You can still get parts for it.
Incredibly reliable engine, and again, from stock, you have that nice line from the tank through the seat. And that same engine comes in the CL and the SL if you want to go start with a platform that's a little bit higher, a little bit more scrambly.
Okay, well, I'm going to put it on the list.
Cool.
'Cause I like it. CB350. All right, I'm going to go with, this is weird. We're like bouncing like manufacturers off each other. So how about a Honda VT500 Ascot? It's got a flat track name, Ascot. Old school, flat track here in Southern California. My dad used to take me there when I was a little kid, and I would stand at the fence with a piece of plexiglass and get roosted in the face by the flat track racers. So, I mean, it's got Ascot in its name.
I mean, it's a great motorcycle. It's a V-twin. It's almost got the little number plate on the side already.
It has a number plate, VT500 Ascot. The only issue I have with it is that stock, it has a shaft drive.
Yeah, doesn't lend itself to re-gearing as easily as some of the other customs.
Definitely
and
not.
The VTs have gotten really expensive in aftermarket, yeah, from Craigslist and everything lately. The ones that I've seen used to be under $1,000, and now you're looking at well above 2,500 most of the time.
Yeah, and that was the thing with the Ascot was, even probably a year ago, they were dirt cheap.
Right.
So it was a good starting point because they were so cheap. But now everyone's like, ooh, I want one of those because it's got some cool lines. It's got a really kind of boxy, racy tank that kind of comes down to the number plate. So it almost looks like it's got a tail section on it already.
Faux monocoque bodywork.
Yeah, so, I would still go with the CB350 over the Ascot.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to bother putting it on the list.
Okay.
I think
And in
there's
lieu of
some
that
better
one-
choices probably down the line that we're going to have
Yeah.
that we're going to be pulling some of these off anyways. So VT500 Ascot, as cool as it is, the rent's too damn high. It's gone.
Right. And in lieu of that high price tag, throw it to a nice cheap one, the Virago.
Ooh.
I love me a good Virago custom. This is a bike that was made in a few different iterations, from a dual rear shock to the monoshock. I like the look of the monoshock. You see it converted a lot. It's another V-twin, but one that you can pick up dirt cheap.
Yeah, but there's a lot more modification of that bike than other bikes because it had such a tall tank and a low seat. You're definitely chopping, you're definitely welding. You're gonna have to do a little bit more work to get that tracker style out of it, I think, than some other bikes like the CB and even an old Ascot. You're gonna have to do a little more work.
A few years ago you would have been right, but now that people have been using these as a platform more frequently, there are kits out there that are just weld-free. You will have to chop a bit of the subframe, but you don't really have to weld. You can sort of just bolt up and get yourself a tracker kit for these bikes, which is pretty rad.
It's actually a rad little engine.
Yeah.
So let's put it on the list.
Good one. And it's available in either the 750 or the 920. Both
Dude, we're
with the
going
monoshock.
920. We're not messing around with no 750s.
Let's go Big 10.
Virago, 920. Okay,
Cool.
I'm going with a modern bike. I'm going with a dual sport. So why not take a modern dual sport like the Honda CRF 450L, 19-inch wheels, lower the suspension, you've got bitchin' lights, modern running gear, fuel injection, whatever that horsepower that thing makes when you uncork it. We'll say it's going to make on a dyno 45 to 50 horsepower in a pretty light frame. Not the lightest of dual sports, but I think the Honda lends itself better just because there's so many Honda flat truckers out there already. It kind of fits the mold. You could do like a Bubba Schobert, red, white, and blue get up on it, and it would be epic.
I mean, I'd say if we were doing dirt trackers, like actual race bikes, then yeah, the CRF would totally fit. But looking for a street tracker, I think you want more of the vintage aesthetic, and you sort of need the tubular chassis to work around to replace that plastic gas tank. You need that line between the tank and the seat.
I think it's a modern take, man. I think things have to move forward sometimes. Everything can't be vintagey. Like if you rolled that into a hand-built show and had it done the right way,
Yeah.
it would get a lot of attention because it would stand out from all the rest of them.
It would, for sure, but I still don't think people would look at it and say, that's a street tracker. I think they'd call it a supermoto. You know,
Even with 19-inch wheels.
even with the 19s, I think if you did it,
All right, well, you are
With
the
those-
custom and culture guy, so I have to give you the.
yeah, I mean, I think that the street tracker aesthetic is somewhat vintage. I think that that line between the tank and the seat is one of the
Yeah,
only parameters
yeah,
that really
fair enough.
defines it.
Fair enough. Okay. Damn it. It's
Aw.
out.
But again, keeping it modern, let's go with the Triumph Street Twin. It's not terribly expensive. You have
Yep.
that line. The engine is versatile. It's powerful. It would lend itself well to this type of riding.
Yeah, it would.
And really, all you need to do is 19-inch wheels and a tail section.
Yeah, that's about it. Maybe some wider tracker type bars.
Yeah,
Maybe give it a little
super
more
bike bars or something.
kind of, pull on the bike, but
Yeah,
that's a no-brainer. I mean, and it's modern, so you don't have to deal with any of the old school stuff
Yep.
like carburetors on an XS650, sinking carburetors, worrying about rust. It's modern. It's going to work really well, and you're still going to have all that style. So.
and it's $9,300 new, which is more than most of the other bikes we're talking about. But again, you get a brand new Triumph, so it's
Yeah.
going to be more reliable. It's going to be higher performance. You're going to have all the great things that come with a new bike.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a really good choice.
Rad.
Okay, my choice for modern twin is an XXR 700.
It's one of my favorite bikes.
It's a really cool bike. It's fun to ride just the way it is. Can you imagine throwing some 19s on it?
Yep.
A tail section, some wider bars that are a little more pulled back so you can sit up even more straight up on it. Get rid of the round number plate and maybe put some sort of flatter, like a round headlight, and put something that's a little more flat tracker-ish, and going with that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have the low end torque that most of these other bikes do, but it winds up really well. And when we're talking street tracker rather than dirt tracker, it's more about the on-road rideability, which that bike just has for days.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
That's a good one.
So I'm gonna put it on the list as
Yeah.
well. XSR 700. Okay, hit me while I'm writing. We're running out of time.
Okay.
We're down to, oh God, we've already
And
gone
my
over.
last, I know you said we couldn't do it.
I knew we couldn't do
Sportsters for the win.
it. Oh, come on.
Come on. I mean, you can't argue. When you get out to a hooligan race and, 4 out of 5 bikes you see are Sportsters in the Run What You Brung class, they've been made since 1986 with the Evo engine and
True.
have been relatively unchanged.
And only 9 out of 10 are on the track, but then 9 out of 10 are also in the parking lot
Yeah,
with the same style.
with the same style. It's the go-to.
Yep, okay. I mean, counter argument, I was like, okay, no Sportster, so that meant no Indian Scout. The Indian Scout is the modern take on that.
Yeah.
Roland Sands and crew have done a pretty wicked job on the Scouts, building them for hooligan racing. But those things, you can ride them on the street. Cameron Brewer rode one all the way to Sturgis without even a front brake on the thing, right?
Yeah. And it's not the
So-
craziest thing Cam Brewer's done.
It's not, but he did it, and
Right.
it's a street tracker, obviously.
Yeah.
He rode it all the way there. It raced and came home.
Right. The argument against the Scout is that you're taking a $12,000 bike, putting a $6,000 kit on it to make it a tracker, but now Indian has the FTR 1200.
Yeah, and but the FTR 1200, it's tracker styled.
Yeah.
We don't know how the customization is going to go with it yet.
Right.
The Scout's a kind of a known quantity, so that's why I said the Scout
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
than the FTR. I mean, they have kits and stuff for it to make it look trackerish, but
Right.
no one's. I haven't seen a real true tracker look
Right.
from the FTR 1200.
As opposed
yet.
to super hooligan racing where we see normal Scouts whipping the oval all the time.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So I think just in terms of cost and parts availability and ease of building,
You could
much
get
as I hate to
yourself
say it, yeah,
$3,000
sporty.
Sportster, pour $2,000 into it, and have a pretty rad tracker.
Yeah, I think it's sporty. As much as I was just giving you a hard time, I knew you were going to say it anyways. That's why I told you no sporties.
I mean, I just finished, man.
Yeah, I know. So we've gone over by quite a long time, and we've still got, what do we got up here? We got 2, 4, 6, 7 bikes. So we gotta narrow this down real quick.
Cool.
What's gonna go?
I'd say the XSR, just because it doesn't have the tubular chassis. You don't have the classic gas tank. You don't really have the classic street tracker lines. It's a little bit harder to customize.
Okay, I'll pull that.
Okay.
But then I would say, in my opinion, it's either CB350 or the Virago.
Yeah.
Because I think an SR400 just lends itself so much to a street tracker.
Totally.
It's ridiculous.
And really, as much as I love the CB350 for the rideability, reliability, I think that the Virago is just a more versatile street bike.
Well, and it's 15 years newer technology.
Right.
So it's a little bit more.
It's going to take a little bit more elbow grease to get it there, but I
But
think
when
you'll
they're done right,
you'll have a better bike.
When they're done right, they're rad.
Right, a little more unique.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's our list. 5 best bikes to build a tracker from. We've got a Sportster, of course, XS650, Yamaha SR400 because of its cool single-cylinder flat track look already, a Virago 920 because we want the bigger engine. This one's gonna be a lot of work, but pretty cool, and a Triumph Street Twin.
Yep.
That's it. Thanks for being on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you like what we're doing, like, subscribe, share. In the comments, let us know what your 5 best are for this subject because no one ever agrees with our choices. And that's the cool part about this show.
Yeah.
Is it's kind of make what you want. And we want to hear your opinions. So put them down below. And also, hit us up with what kind of 5 best you want to see in the future. If we use it, we'll give you a shout out. Thanks for watching.
Cool. Thank you. Cool. 15 minutes.
We went way over.
Yeah. But it didn't feel like it lagged.
No, the conversation was pretty good.
Yeah.